214-787-1080 is the telephone number. Chris Salcedo in for Jay McFarland. I am pleased to welcome to the KRLD hotline former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Mr. Speaker, welcome to KRLD.
Well, listen, it's great to be with you and to have a chance to talk about ideas with you. And I just want to say that a number of my friends, Congressman Pete Sessions, Sylvia Garcia, who heads up the Americano on the web, and then many people will speak very highly of you and of your show. Well,
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate that. I love hearing that, and I want to hear about something that is your current project. You have so many, my goodness. The next book that's coming out, it's called To Save America, right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, To Save America basically does two things. First of all, it outlines the case that we are dealing with a secular socialist machine in the Obama White House and the Pelosi-Reed Congress. And second, two-thirds of the book is made up of very specific, positive solutions, because we believe that America has to fundamentally reform in order to be able to compete with China and India. And we believe for the American people, we want a smaller, leaner, more effective government with lower taxes and with more power back home so the people of Dallas make their own decisions about their own community, and it's not all controlled by some bureaucrat sitting in Washington, D.C.
Amen to that, Mr. Speaker. One of my big concerns is that the Republicans aren't doing a lot right now to put up there basically an equivalent to the contract with America that you had put up back in 1994. Basically, I mean, the Obama administration doing a fantastic job of shooting itself in the foot. Don't get me wrong, but my big concern is that there is a no big idea person. There's no big central push from the Republicans. Do you share that?
Well, I think we have a growing number, whether it's Congressman Pete Sessions or, for that matter, Congressman Michael Burgess right there in the Dallas area, or Congressman Kevin McCarthy in California, who has been assigned the task of organizing the equivalent of the contract with America for this fall. I believe that you're going to see a continuing growth of new ideas and new approaches. Certainly Congressman Paul Ryan, who's come up with a number of entitlement reform ideas, fits in that tradition. And Congressman Jordan of Ohio, who's introduced the Economic Freedom Act, which has 5 major tax cuts, which would get us back to creating jobs. And I'd urge all of our listeners to contact your congressman and ask them to co-sponsor Congressman Jordan's Economic Freedom Act, because it has the kind of tax cuts which would help small business, create jobs, launch new factories, and create work for Americans.
Mr. Speaker, I have been sounding the clarion call here on the radio the last couple of weeks that these leftists on the illegal immigration issue that say it's racist to enforce our borders. There's another side in the Latino community that has been, I believe, the silent majority that needs to wrest that message away from people that are not committed to the furthering of a government of, by, and for the people, but that are interested in importing Central American ideals of government, like from Venezuela or, our neighbors to the south down there in Cuba. Those folks that are speaking really loudly on the left that get the majority of the press coverage. It has been my mission, and I know that you also have an initiative to actually get an alternative view in the Latino community out there, and it's called the Americano, right?
Yeah, the Americano is a real effort on our part, and you can see it at theamericano.com, to create a place where people who are concerned about Latino issues and who are concerned about America's future have a chance to write articles, to interact, to post ideas. And it's really gotten more and more viewership and more people coming to it. And I agree with the way you said it. Virtually all of us believe in legal immigration, but we all know that America has become a wonderful country because we attract hard-working, smart people from all over the world. They learn to be Americans, they work hard, they create a better future. And the challenge for us is to find an intelligent path, starting with controlling the border, and with a guest worker program that is enforceable and which I believe has to be outsourced to American Express or Visa or MasterCard, so somebody sophisticated is running it because the federal bureaucracy couldn't possibly cope with the fraud. But there is a way to solve these problems, to do it with dignity, and to have a genuinely inclusive approach that does not involve amnesty, does not involve tolerating lawlessness, and does not cave into the blackmail of the left. And I think it's very telling that most Americans across the country favor enforcing the law and favor the idea that if the police stop somebody for committing a crime, they have every right to know whether or not that person is legally in the United States.
I can't let you go without asking the question, I'm sure that every single time that you talk to your friends in the media, talk show hosts, or whenever you appear on television, somebody's going to ask you this, and I probably couldn't let you go without asking. How's that presidential run looking for you?
Well, Calista and I are going to make a decision in February or March. This year, we're focused totally on winning races this year. We want to make sure Governor Rick Perry gets reelected, for example. We want to make sure that we continue to win House seats across the country. We think there's a real choice between job killers in the Democratic Party who've been passing taxes and regulations and litigation to kill jobs, and job creators. And everybody in America who's worried about unemployment has a real interest in turning out to vote this fall to make sure that we beat the secular socialist machine and we replace it with representatives and senators dedicated to creating jobs.
Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, his new book is called To Save America. Also, for you Latinos looking for a different perspective than the loudmouth, shrill voices, the anti-American voices in the left and the Latino community, head to his website, theamericano.com, for another perspective. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for being on KRLD.
Thank you.
You betcha. 214-787-1080 is the telephone number. It's Chris Salcedo. In for Jay McFarland, News Radio 1080.